Alright, that's relatively stable, and welcome once again to Sound Goblin Gaming, presenting D&D in Hindsight, presenting a book from D&D 3.5. I am Vincent, presenting this book.
I am the Krampus.
I'm Hunter Grain.
And I am Vincent. And yes, Monster Manual 5, the last 3.5 Monster Manual, also the last cover by Henry Higginbotham.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a really nice cover, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much the same as the last Monster Manual, so as far as like everything that was updated, it kind of just continues along that line, so there's not a huge amount that's different, so more or less this is pretty much all fluff that we're going to cover, give or take. But yeah, the layout is basically the same. There's the lore section. Like, this is very much a case of if it's not broke in the most relative sense, don't fix it. Doesn't really need fixed. Like, at least not broke beyond like the fact that it's 3.5. You can only do so much within that system when it comes to trying to make monsters look clean. You can make it a little bit cleaner, but that's more you're just leaving out detail, basically. So the first thing I noticed, for some reason, there were two different undead and or undead adjacent vultures that weren't that far from each other, and I just found that weird.
Well, vultures always appear in, like, flocks.
Yeah. Indeed. Did I have anything else to say about this Arcadian adventure, or was it just here? Nope, not particularly. Okay. Something that is in here. Dalmosh here is not a species. This is actually an individual.
I was about to say, I don't really understand a world that can have many of those.
Yeah. It's not very common. Like, there's a Taurosk technically in Monster Manual 1, but it's not very common in 3.5. Matter of fact, it's incredibly rare for them to actually have, like, singular creatures in the Monster Manual. It is usually, here's a species or race of abominations or type of demon or etc.
Yeah.
The individual ones tended to be more in, like, the Fiendish Codexes, for example. And this particular one, Dalmosh of the Infinite Maws, is a demon that's not, or, well, okay, it's from the Abyss, is not technically a demon, or I don't think technically qualifies as a demon for some reason or another. But it's not a Tanari, it's not an Oberth, and it's not a, whatever the third type is, I forget about. It is a lot of mouths on a big thing. Speaking of demons, here's a Carnage demon.
A Carnage demon? Oh my god.
That's Skinless Orc-Man.
Alright, you found out I was smuggling diamonds. Now what you gonna fucking do about it? That's right. Keep walking. Meddling kids. One day I'm gonna eat you.
But yeah, Carnage demons. Also not any of the classic demon types, because I think these were Force Evolution of Dresches, blah blah blah, or may have actually been their vulnerability to silvered items. Chaotic things tend to be vulnerable to cold iron. Vulnerability to silver is actually a lawful thing. So these may have been created using materials from or related to devils, which makes the name make more sense, because usually devils have the more insert the blank devil, like Ice Devil or Bone Devil or Pit Fiend, and the demons have names that are impronounceable syllables with the occasional vowel shoved in there to make it make sense. Like the Drodnu here, which is another Oberth, actually, as Rose's were. This one particularly hailing from the lair of Obaxob, the Demon Prince of Vermin, also the former Prince of Demons. With his own unique form of madness. It's So it comes with 60 feet, make a will save, or you believe that something is growing inside you and become sickened until it gets cured. You just constantly believe that something is growing inside you. Also, new condition and immobilized, which it's not that new a condition.
I was about to say.
It's from Tome of Magic. It's just that it's not one of the traditional conditions, so they kind of have to print it every time it comes up.
That's fair.
Yeah. And also predictably, since, Devil tends to come after Demon, here's Demons, starting with, and this was the most notable one here that I found, which was just Stitch Devil. It is exactly what it sounds like.
Franken Devil.
Yep. Like, we have these spare parts left over from killing from various demons that have died for reasons, so why not? Let's just stitch them together.
Hey, buddy, you ain't using that arm, are you? Don't mind if I do.
Right. And to the first big section, that kind of goes off on its own interesting tangent. Dragons of the Great Game. So this is a combination of an alternate way of running dragons for people who don't, or for especially DMs who don't want to get too involved with spellcasting, and also just some crazy nonsense that you can have your dragons doing in the world. So Zorvental is a effectively world scale board game that dragons play. It is Byzantine politics turned up to 11, with a giant and complicated rule set, and generally the dragons cannot actually... The Zorvental dragons, after they go through a ritual, have to play by the rules of the game, which, except in rare circumstances, they can't directly attack each other, so it becomes an incredibly Machiavellian scheme of basically types of power and control in a game that no living no one outside of the actual Zorvental dragons completely understand the rules of Zorvental. And thus the whole thing is basically just a game they're playing that the DM absolutely does not explain the rules of at any point. But there are like some common things, like castling, for example. This is moving their personal horde usually into other territory in order to claim territory, or claw test, which is basically having their exarchs and or unwitting agents fight against the exarchs and or unwitting agents of a different player. Also seed hordes, which are basically just planting a horde that you don't actually, not your actual personal horde, but a horde, just kind of a fake horde or a smaller horde somewhere else in our territory to gain points. Seed sham is when you try to fool them into there being a seed horde there, but it's not actually there as a bluff, and you get points for that too. And yes, there's points. The points are even less explained than anything else when it comes to Zorvental dragons. And this is one of the ones where it's actually kind of a weird, and this book does this a lot. It is a weird, okay, here's how you should run this as a DM type of thing. And almost probably works better if the PCs don't actually know what the book says about it. But this one is actually particularly amusing because it is just like, why are the dragons doing that? Or why is this dragon doing this? Or that dragon doing that? And they're trying to get points in the game. Because you can just... It is a kind of silly and interesting motivation, and makes some sense under examination, because it's sort of a weird type of area control game or various things like that, and or whatever the other analogy you can actually make up as a DM. Just explain it away.
It's the closest thing to playing Calvin Ball you'll get.
Yeah. But yeah, the book comes with a couple samples of tall dragons. One of the things I also found interesting is like their samples were a young silver dragon and a very old fang dragon. Which fang dragon is actually a fairly successful player of the game. Has a lot of it's also kind of a feudal game in the sense that older players, older dragons of the great game will take younger dragons of the great game under their wing, as well, and it kind of gives it kind of helps them both in ways with. The younger ones basically get kind of some amount of protection and mentoring, and the older one gets a entire dragon that can actually help them. Yeah, basically. But yeah, and Zorvital Dragon itself is basically a template of sorts for dragons, or is a template for dragons. Basically gets rid of all their spellcasting, but gives them spell-like abilities, special quality to create exarchs, which we'll go over in a minute, and various Zorvital abilities, which are based on. They start with one. You can't become a Zorvital dragon until you're a young adult, and then you get an extra ability for every like 2 age categories you go up. However, you can also just have more because your Zorvital abilities are entirely dependent on how well you're doing at the game. Which again, yeah. Which again, the rules are not explained ever to anyone for. It is entirely the purview of the DM, anyways. But yeah, basically, they basically all modify the dragon's base abilities and or give them like swift actions to do, like Draconic Roar here or Dragon Eyes, Deep Breath. Deep Breath modifies the breath weapon. Doesn't change the recharge time. Yeah, just move action to make the breath better, basically. And there's a lot of these abilities. And then there's the exarchs. So the dragons have a ritual, or Zorvital dragons can make exarchs. Exarchs are basically pawns in the great game, or willing minions in the great game from other races. And it is probably. I have no idea why the template has level adjustment +2, because God does not justify it. Your abilities are, you can communicate with the Zorvital dragon that made you an Exarch, and you get these 5 coins. They can be spent for any of these abilities, or when you take damage that will reduce you to -10 or more, you can instead just spend the rest of the coins you have to teleport back to the Zorvital dragon's lair. Unconscious has 0 hit points. It's like, it is a get out of death free card, kind of. Now, mind you, you only get 5 they get 5 coins initially when they become an Exarch. The Zorvital dragon can give them more coins, but making an Exarch is something they can't always do. It's dependent on how many points they have scored and what their position in the great game currently is, and etc. etc. In other words, it works on hand wavium of and. The odd part about the level adjustment on it is it is very much aimed at like something to give to player characters, kind of as a hey, do you want a campaign where they work for like this one dragon, and it tells them that's pretty much, or that's a driving factor to why they're doing X or Y or A or Z. But at the same time, it's like no one's going to take a 2 level adjustment for this. As one of the player characters, you kind of have to hand wave that part off. Yeah. And moving on to what I will consider the worst named monster in in any of these monster manuals, the Elemental Mage. So, if you guessed from the name Elemental Mage that they were giants descended from ogres, similar to ogre mages. You've already seen this entry. That's the only fucking way I can think you could. When I hear the name Elemental Mage, I think, okay, is this a prestige class or a core class? Not a monster
It's
entry.
a guy in a brightly colored robe throwing like a fireball or a lightning bolt or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Elemental Mage is not a fucking monster name. It's I'm sorry, it's just not.
I don't know. I've seen what elemental mages do. I define them as monsters.
Monster as in something that belongs in a monster manual, not monster as in someone who commits war crimes. Those are different
okay.
things.
That's fair.
Let's see. But yeah. And next on our docket, Frostwind Virago, or another one. How many evil winter maidens are there in folklore? I'm trying to actually figure.
I mean, long ago we played through not Final Fantasy. We played through King's Quest V, which had Isabella, and she's like the most typical bog standard generic ice witch.
And sounds like she's from a King's Quest game, so that makes sense.
And it sounds like she's from a King's Quest game. But yeah, like I imagine any place that's cold and has like, frozen tundra, you get legends about like, oh, there's a scary witch out there. And she also made your cow sad or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Witches are weird.
Let's see. And Gargrath, or as I call it, Off-Brand Tarusk. Colossal magical beast, not really intelligent, but will put up a fight. More intelligent than usual at Int 6, but still. It's here to be a high-level threat just because, for funsies.
It looks like it tried to dress up as what it thought the Tarask looked like and scare people away from its diamond mines.
Most notable thing about it is is its crystal horn, which casts prismatic spray, and when you defeat it, it leaves behind a horn, a horn falls off. Whoever retrieves it, it immediately fixes to their head, and is basically a Helm of Brilliance until the Helm of Brilliance basically has a bunch of charges from a bunch of gemstones that I think have various charges on them to cast stuff. I'm too lazy to look it up, but I know the point is once you've used all the effective charges from your pseudo Helm of Brilliance, it just falls off, so it's not a permanent feature. You've not permanently gained a horn.
I'll be honest, I thought it was a lich-like thing where you became the creature after a while.
Nope. Let's see. Gem Scarabs, which is a very interesting way of giving loot to players, effectively.
Yep. This seems like a monster that would be in Dark Souls.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm pretty sure these are monsters in Dark Souls. You kill the little beetle and you get the Titanite shards.
Yep.
Same concept.
Yeah, similar idea. Yeah, Fluffwise, these things just devour treasure. And that's effectively where all the gemstones and kind of shiny metallic coat on them comes from. They're also bigger than the name would suggest at small size. Means they're effectively in the same size category as like halflings and gnomes.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are big bugs.
Yeah.
Time to get the heavy flamer.
You're probably not wrong. Oh yes, and the other unique thing about them is, oh god, are these things non-threatening? So their melee attack, I believe, was a mighty. Where the hell did they put it? Here it is. A bite at a +2 to hit that does a D4 -1 damage, and their spell-like abilities, which is cast a cantrip, or cantrip. With Acid Splash being a range attack for +3, that will do a D3 acid damage, and Ray of Frost will do a D3 cold damage. And these are CR2. Mostly because they actually have like an AC of 16 and 17 HP, but I'm fairly confident any singular level 1 character can easily take these things out without much issue. I think a wizard could whack these with a stick to death. Right, depending on what the wizard's con is, he might die from acid splash. I don't know.
They're in the garbage can. I don't know what I threw out. Just a couple rubies. Ah, acid. That's it. We'd go build another wizard's tower directly next to this one that doesn't have bugs in it.
That sounds reasonable.
That's the wizard thing to do.
And god-blooded creature, which I know the text is technically here, so can you guess what makes a creature god-blooded?
It's got godblood.
No.
They're a demigod.
No.
Really?
No.
Do they bathe in the blood of gods?
Yes. They bathe in the blood of gods.
Well,
Phenomenal.
this does look like the skinless ogre man that we saw at the start of the book before he became skinless ogre man. So,
But yeah, it is acquired. What's actually kind of neat about it is they actually did ones for specifically each of the well, not each of the gods, but for several of the gods. Like, there's Grommash blooded. Here's Imix blooded. What the fuck is it? Oh, Prince of Evil Fire Elemental. Okay, yeah. Cord blooded, Vecna blooded, Yenogu blooded, Orcus blooded.
the rare, oft discussed blooded.
Yeah.
Blood.
Yes, obligatory golems, like the Force Golem here, which was interesting in the sense that it's actually it's actually sentient. This thing actually has an elemental shoved into it.
Oh,
I don't doesn't mention what type of elemental, and considering this is Force, it's an I don't know elemental. But yeah, it actually has an intelligence. It's not a high challenge rating, but it has an intelligence. And is ironically vulnerable to Force. Greenspawn Zealot being our only what's it called? Our only one of the spawns of Tiamat in this book. For reasons I'm not entirely fathoming why they do that, but whatever. Haunts. Yet another type of ghosty. Yeah, the haunts are actually a bit unique in getting rid of them takes more than just beating their hit points to zero. Yeah, cannot be permanently destroyed through combat. Destroyed spirit restores itself, returns the bridge haunt. Yeah, for the bridge haunt, for example, in D4 days. Take a gain a haunt more than 100 feet from its bridge, which can destroy it, as can destroying the bridge. Bridge haunt is laid to rest by taking a piece of the corporeal remains of its former body or possession and import into it in life, and delivering the item to a place where the creature that became the haunt was headed before its demise. That's the proper way of getting rid of it, or there's the improper way of getting rid of it. Fuck it, we'll just get rid of the bridge. But yeah, notably, this is a creature that can be permanently solved only really by having a good enough knowledge religion check, because you're not really going to think of doing that. That or the DM decides to plant something somewhere so you know how to get rid of it permanently, but yeah. Also, forest haunts, and something else they do in this book is randomly throw new feats at the bottom. They're not, most of the time, not new feats, but this one was actually fairly interesting on its own. As its standard action to awe an opponent, they have to be within 30 feet, have an intelligence score. If they fail a will save, a scaling will save, they're shaken for 10 minutes. There's no limited uses on this. It's not even technically a supernatural ability, so it's just an extraordinary ability. That honestly is not actually a bad fear effect, especially coming from a feat. if you're already making them shaken via other means. This also doesn't count as demoralize anyway, so you can fall with like an intimidate or something. I just found it interesting because it's like, it's not often that a feat gives you an action that might actually halfway worthwhile. It still kind of isn't because it's only a single target, but depending on what your character is doing, it might be. Who knows? Also, fighter can select as a bonus feat. Yep. Also more hobgoblins, also more feats in the hobgoblin section, including battle mage tactics, or as I like to call it, something no player characters will ever take. So yeah, each time you cast a spell that requires a target to make a saving throw, they gain a Battlemaster Tactics token, which, okay, that's the first time I've seen anything do that, but okay. After the spell resolves, yeah. The creature gains a token when it succeeds or fails, but if they but not they avoid their spell resistance. It gives them a cumulative -1 penalty on saving throws against spells of spellcasters that have this feat, and goes away at the end of the round, so you will never benefit from your own feat of this, which means you basically have to have multiple characters that have this feat in the same party, and they have to have not all taken this feat rather than just taking spell focus, which will just add 1 to DC, which is net the same thing, without any of the clauses. So it's like, okay, but what's the point in this unless you have like for player characters you would have to have like 6+ casters, and for enemies, why are you throwing this many casters at a player? What the fuck is wrong with you? That this feat is ever going to come into play. Also, Mage Slayer, the feat that almost works but doesn't. I think it was printed somewhere else before, but anyways, go over it and its issue. So +1 on will save. Spellcasters you threaten can't cast defensively, but are aware that they can't cast defensively, so they will just take a 5-foot step to get away from you. If you have a reach weapon in this edition, that they can the reach weapon basically doesn't hit next to you, so they can just take a 5-foot step to be either next to you or just back. In any case, your own. That they're always going to be unless you are of a larger size, which gives you a larger threat area, or you really like using spike chains. Taking away a spellcaster's ability to cast defensively doesn't actually do much. And in the worst case scenario where they really need to cast a spell, but they're in your threatened area, that they can just move normally, take the attack of opportunity, and not care. Let's see. Illyrian. Why did I put this here? That is a good question. Very much a watery thing. Evil extra.
Because I'll be very generous and a little more correct than I'd normally be and say it looks like toothpaste.
You're not wrong. Toothpaste elemental. Right. This monster. Right. This is one of the unique creatures, actually. This is not a race. This is a specific character. This is Illyrian of the Myriad Glimpses. From the Concordant Domain of the Outlands, nonetheless. But yes, be warned if you ever run into a toothpaste elemental. It's like a Challenger in 15.
Your corpse will be destroyed, but your teeth will look immaculate.
Yep. Jabrins, and like the first actual. There's not very many new races in this book, and this is like, I think the one, or there's like a couple at most. Yeah, basically a Fey race. Former just as a Fey court, Fey nobles delighted, and blah blah blah. Yeah. Let's see. +2 strength, or -2 strength, +2 charisma, so normal stats, that's normal. +1 luck bonus to AC is nothing amazingly special. Medium size. Bite attack for D3, who cares? +1 racial bonus on saving throws or enchantments. Spellcraft as a class skill, +4. Special attack, Will Sapper adds half their class level to saving throw of this ability. Which I conveniently left off the page, but unless that ability is amazing, this is definitely not worth a +1 level adjustment, but that's pretty normal. Well, the bright side's favorite class is Beguiler. No, that doesn't matter. Also in this book, more Koatoas. Also in this book, apparently they decided to throw in a Kuatoa weapon and some Kuatoa specific feats. Just because.
Alright. Hey, Jim, we gotta fill up, like, the bottom fifth of a page or something. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this a unique exotic weapon harpoon just because, I don't know, we didn't want to use the harpoon I think we already have. I'm pretty sure there's the harpoon somewhere. And we made up some monk feats for them just to... just... That actually confuses me more somehow.
Hey, these guys look like monks, right? Yeah.
Let's see. Mercurians. Yeah, these are interesting because this is actually a living construct race. Their origin was actually kind of silly because they are effectively former fire giants that let's see, yeah. For tasks of creating weapons that surpassed even the adamantite axes of the dwarves in combat, after decades of toil, the giants produced only a strange slag of mercurial metal. Surtured with Lord of the Fire Giants was furious and savagely hurled all of his followers in the magma rift that held their creation. They weren't slain, however, and instead emerged as constructs of living quicksilver. In other words, somebody thought of an origin because they wanted to make giant T1 or T2000s.
Hey guys, I just saw this movie called Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's awesome. What do you mean it's 20XX?
All right, and the second, let's go on a tangent with something that already exists: the Mind Flayers of Thune. Yep. So these are mind flayers that went on a deep trip into the far realm and came back. Kind of fucking crazy. So they constantly receive teleback instructions from Thune. What is Thune? They don't know. No one does. They receive instructions, and the instructions are things that they follow. They've also learned how to detect quintessence, which is in various living things. And it does factually exist because they use it to make stuff and modify creatures and things. So it is a thing, but it is undetectable except by followers of Thune. In other words, and actually to basically describe it, this is to put the more like this is more a mind flayers with a bend towards the unknowable eldritch thing and more of a fanaticism and less of the cold evil scientist type thing that likes to eat your brains that the mind flayers are usually more known for. It is basically just a variance on mind flayer motivation in and of itself. Of they're doing a thing, no one knows why, including the mind flayers themselves. But they are following the instructions of Thune. What is Thune? No one knows what Thune is.
When will he arrive? Thune.
Yeah. Like literally at the bottom of the page, they're generally yep. They're generally questions like, is Thune a god? The answer is Thune is Thune. Thune is all. As for what they can actually create, oh crap, like this. So yeah, here's a Thune soldier, which is just created from quintessence, and here's this mad crafter of Thune, which basically spits out fucking its own spawn things that So yeah, there's not a nothing to this. They are not just crazy mind flayers. The quintessence is very much a thing, but again, only followers of Thune can find this stuff and use it. So yeah. And finally, the Thune Elder Brain, which is actually a unique individual. There is only one Thune Elder Brain so far. What is of note that is not particularly on this page, Elder Brains are usually a challenge rating like 25. The Thune Elder Brain is a challenge rating of 15, and the explanation of why it's a challenge rating of 15 is so you actually fucking use it as a monster. Which honestly makes enough sense. Also, the followers of Thune are only designed around certain challenge rating bandwidth, so there'd be like a, I think, 12 or 15 level jump, or yeah, level jump between like an actual typical Elder Brain and Elder Brain of Thune. Which also kind of begs the question as to why Elder Brains themselves has a higher challenge rating if you're trying to keep them somewhat somewhat of an elevated threat from mind flayers and not just, you know, something way above them by a lot. So it just kind of gets silly. But that's a different matter entirely. Also, how to introduce Thune into your game for low and mid-level campaigns, etc. Subsequent exposition. But yeah. General idea is mind flayers of Thune crave quintessence above all else. Quintessence generally just exists in living things, so...
Hey, okay, hold on. Low-level Thune campaign. First bullet point. A small frontier village is repulsed a large band of orc marauders. Scattered reports from the frontier indicate that some villagers exploded after being afflicted by strange magic.
You know,
yep, as you do.
Yeah. I see nothing wrong with this.
He went up in a mighty Thune.
Yep.
That joke will stop being funny at some point. Not yet.
No, not probably for a while. Ah, yes. And here we see Mockery bugs. More specifically is the Mockery Monarch and the Mockery drones that it spawns. So this thing lures people close, eats them, then spits them out as Mockery drones, which mostly look like normal people, except they are incredibly stupid. They're not actual normal people. The person is dead because they basically planted a drone in their head, and yeah, occasionally that happens.
The bug with a man face. Okay, that's actually horrifying. That's one of those horrifying monsters we've seen.
Yeah, probably actually.
That's Jesus. It's like the joke from Aqua Teen Hunger Force when Carl's eating the weight loss bars.
Yeah, no, it basically
2 centipedes start feeding on him.
No, it basically hollows out people and fills them with drone. Yeah, these things are specifically born from Ankhegs. They are unable to reproduce on their own. They are sterile. The drones are sterile, so they just kind of exist. But they are just offshoots of they're occasional mutant offshoots of Ankhegs, basically. And is an interesting, if completely horrifying thing you can just randomly insert in a campaign. It's like, oh, everyone in this village is an idiot. I wonder why. Well, as you're investigating, bug bursts from someone's head. Let's see. And moving on to Phantoms, which was notably surprising in the sense they hadn't used Phantom yet. You think sometime before Monster Manual 5 they actually have used the name already, but...
Is it one of those moments where you're sitting around like, hey, Mark, have we done Phantoms? We had to have done Phantoms. Frantic flipping through a book like, what the fuck? What the fuck? We haven't done Phantoms yet. Alright, put in a Phantom. Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah. Pretty much what you expect otherwise is undead. Let's see. Vulnerable specifically to ghost touch. I don't believe. Yeah, it is just undead. It is not inherently or incorporeal type, but they can turn incorporeal. Okay, there's a phantom gas that they actually use as an example. Ironically, this is an undead template that can be applied to other undead. Because it can be applied to any corporeal creature. Hi, you could have Phantom Lich. A Flitch.
Or Phantom Itch.
Yep. Ryclar, when you want to scale up the giant rats, to be even more horrifying. But yeah.
Is that a giant rat that is bleeding other rats?
It is a giant rat that is bleeding other rats. Yeah, so the Ryclar Harridan is the primary spawner of them, which basically when it takes fire damage, it spawns a swarm of rats, and they eventually grow into the other types. Yeah, I think this was invented by. I think this one was invented by somebody who had quite a few nightmares about rats. Honestly. Sanguineous Drinker, which is here solely for that line I highlighted here. Sanguineous Drinkers are not natural creatures. What was your first fucking hint?
Oh, that's them Sanguineous Drinkers. We get them, every season or so. They come around the northern patch. And, you just shake a broom at them, and you say a couple of Ave Helms or whatever, and they go away eventually.
Hey, is it natural for there to be a skeleton walking around with a bunch of internal organs still there?
Don't you go talking about what is and is not natural in a fantasy setting? What, are you crazy? Circle of life. Make a vague circular gesture with my old-timey corncob pipe.
Let's see, Siege Beetle, because we have to have giant bugs, because why not? Also what I actually found interesting on this one, yeah, kill it, you can make a suit of armor out of it. Here's the stats for the suit of armor down here. It is unique to these things, strangely enough. Let's see. Yeah, it shows valuable commodity in places where children armor is valued, including, yeah. Let's see. Yes, the Skull Lord. This one is semi-unique. They themselves are not unique, but they're actually there are 12 Skull Lords that arose from the ashes of Black Tower of Vrakmul, wherever they were created, whether they're created intentionally by that mad necromancer or came forth spontaneously from all energies of his fallen sanctum, none can say. However, legends state that since Vrakmul's fall, the 12 saw his lost regalia, a mask of the skull, a rod of withering, and a staff of necromancy, none of which are described here. With these items, they plan to recall Vral from destruction, rejoin his shared soul, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's basically a here's the lords of a minion faction.
So Vince, do you mean to tell me that Skull Lords are not natural creatures?
Probably not.
I'm shocked.
Sure.
You too may have a mad necromancer that once operated in your backyard if you have Skull Lords.
That's a good built-in plot hook for a campaign, just like a one-line thing. But here's the 3 things that some people believe could bring back a necromancer.
Yeah, and that is a lot of what that is a lot of or well, not a lot with the answer, but that is a thing that this book actually does do, and kind of decently well. That was kind of the point of the necromancers, or the mind flayers of Thune and the Skull Lords and the dragons of the Great Game. All of them are basically like, oh, these are actually like either big players or outright antagonists that can that you can pretty much base a game around if you really wanted to, or even just like an arc of a campaign. Like the Skull Lords are very easy to drop into your campaign. You don't even have to make up a stupid necromancer name; they already have one.
Yeah.
Also, Vrakmul is not statted either, just in case you're wondering. Also of note, they didn't just make Skull Lords; they actually made like other unique minions of the Skull Lords. So, because they can actually make undead themselves, 3 different types. Yeah, so they can make like these Bone Spurs, these Serpenters, and the thing I didn't put here. But there was a Spectral Rider that they can also make, which is exactly what it sounds like. But yeah, it's not just the Skull Lords. They also threw in like the minions. So, yeah, it's a pretty usable, just like antagonist faction you can just throw into a game if you want to.
Yeah.
Yes, these collections of oozes, which were various size spawns of Jubilex, which I say ooze, they're not actually oozes or elementals, and they're made from a demon lord. Granted, it's the demon lord of oozes, but yeah. If you're planning on your campaign, eventually visiting one of the, I would say one of the worst layers of the abyss, but I don't know if it is one of the worst layers of the abyss, but it is pretty freaking ick. Where you have the choice of going underground into the caves and dealing with various oozes, or being above ground and dealing with the queen of fungi and an entire plane that is nothing but like fungus infected everything. Where a campaign may end because the player character failed too many fortitude saves or something. Yeah. On second thought, just bring fire. Lots of fire.
Yeah. Just burn it all to be sure.
Yeah.
The heaviest flamer.
Yeah.
Brother, bring the flavor. The heavy flavor.
Still wings. When you see a bird diving out of the sky at you, you're probably not expecting it to be like a challenge rated 14 fucking bird. This is like the most mundane picture for something this fucking difficult that I've seen.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's just a cool looking like falcon or something. Oh man, Dave just got cut in half. I want to go back to fighting rats. Not the big rat that bleeds rats, just the regular rats.
But yeah, this is Extra Planner Magical Beast. I believe this is actually and appropriately from, the Infernal Battlefield of Acheron, i.e. the place where there's a bunch of armies that are constantly fighting on metal cubes that bump into each other.
I'm going to refer to this thing as Temu Skarmory.
Sure.
It's a bird made of metal.
Yeah.
But it looks like they got exceptionally lazy with its design. Which is saying something when you're ripping off Pokemon.
No, that's obviously the F-15 Falcon.
Ironically, it's still normal flying. Okay.
I'm sorry, does that mosquito have a fucking hammer?
No, that mosquito is being held off by a big red sword.
Oh, okay.
That guy's trying not to get mosquitoed.
No, you're both wrong. This is a somewhat rusted sword being picked up by this mosquito, and the handle happens to have a hand on it that is no longer attached to an arm.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so this race of invasive insects also just has hands. Even on like the more insectoid versions, there's also a lot of different variants, but the eye wings here are basically the they're the small scout ones basically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is just again another like antagonistic faction you can just throw in on the side in a campaign because it's pretty flushed out. It is not just it's all these things as well. And if I throw Tirabanas into a campaign, the only reason anyone in our group would know about Tirabanas is because you're currently in a Discord call with me where we're streaming a book that has Tirabanas in them, because God knows I haven't heard of them. Yeah, there are some obscure things in monster manuals, but I do not think they have ever reprinted these things. And it's not like they're particularly unique. The invasive bug race is not like the most unique concept per se, but it's kind of neat nonetheless. And it's a specific type, at least. Let's see. And now the vampire section, which consists of precisely 2 vampires. They are specifically... They're specific people. The Black Duke and the Red Widow. And then we stop thinking of colors. And they're done with the vampire section.
Hey, those are Marvel characters, thank you very much.
They may well be, actually. I almost want to look them up, but I'm too lazy to do so.
I don't think they actually are. I'm just saying, like, that naming scheme.
There's a good chance that they are actually Marvel characters, though. But yeah.
The Red Widow, I'm almost certain is. I believe she's one of the other people who went through the program with Natasha.
Okay, she
Black
is.
Widow.
Red Widow is the Winter Guard. Black Duke, huh?
Yeah, might not hit Black Duke, but
Black Duke of Earth 616 was the enemy of Robin Hood in 12th century England.
okay, there we go. I mean, it's.
I mean, they weren't stretched by any stretch of imagination, or by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean,
but the fact that both of them were off an offhand joke.
He was also a German prince from October, or lived from October 1771 to 1815.
Yeah.
He's nicknamed the Black Duke.
Also, not surprising there'd be a nickname, somebody nicknamed Black Duke in human history.
Yep.
Also, Marvel's been around for, 80 plus years now, I think. Something like that.
A while, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're closer to 100 years than not, honestly. Them using, like, generic-ass names for stuff like this does not surprise me at all. Let's see. And finally, we have here the Wild Hunt. Which is more specifically, here's Master of the Hunt and Hounds of the Hunt. It's actually kind of neat for them just to insert the Wild Hunt into here, which is just kind of a Fey lore thing, basically. Now, granted, Jesus Christ, it's a high challenge rating. So...
I mean, yeah, it's the Master of the Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
You're not fighting Doug, the guy who occasionally shoots boars with a pilum.
No, it's just well at the point of the game where you're basically playing Rocket Tag practically, so...
Yeah, basically. But it could also be like the thing that your campaign's been leading up to. Like, you've been dealing with the Wild Hunt and dealing with, like, the lesser bits of it, and then all of a sudden, periodically through the campaign, oh shit, the Master of the Hunt showed up, we need to get the fuck out of town.
Master of the Wild Hunt showed up. He threw a spear at Dave, and Dave is now a corpse.
Yeah, there's nothing left of Dave but his boots.
Yeah. And let's see. Beyond that, it also has a feats and glossary section, but it is the same feats that's in Monster Manual 1, same glossary for the most part that's in Monster Manual 1. It has Living Construct in there technically, so I guess it's Monster Manual 3 where they introduced Warforged into the rest of D&D proper, not just Eberron. But it's still basically the same idea. And beyond that, that's pretty much the entirety of this book. So,
All right.
Yeah. Also, it's a good monster manual, but it's a monster manual. It doesn't do anything different from Monster Manual 4, but it didn't need to do anything different from Monster Manual 4. I think they pretty much got the formula down at that point. So, they just... More monsters is more gooder, especially as a DM tool. And I do very much like the... kind of the approach of like, okay, here's new and fairly different factional ideas, whether they be like the different templates like the Dragons of the Great Game or the Mind Flayers of Thune, or the outright new things like the bug people I've already forgotten the name of.
Reiching. Oh,
Jirvana.
it wasn't this book.
Yeah.
Jirvana.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the Skull Lords. The Skull Lords were also an interesting one. But yeah, it's just pretty much the claim to fame in this book is that stuff, which is good. They're useful tools. I do like seeing stuff like that. But yeah, beyond that, I don't really have much else to say.
A lot of really good ideas. I felt I was a little more engaged with this book than usual, just because it had some really interesting stuff in it, and
yeah,
whether it was stuff we were gently, and affectionately poking fun at, or some genuinely cool ideas. They had kind of a mix of both, but I don't think either one's bad necessarily.
Yeah, and there are ideas you can adopt to any system as well. It's also a meritorious part of like a meritorious part of like the better monster manuals is that stuff basically.
Yeah,
like practically any fantasy RPG is going to have dragons of one sort or another, and Dragons of the Great Game is such a neat as hell idea actually for how to have dragons behave in general. You don't even have to do any mechanical adaptation. It is just, here's just a thing you can do as a plot point with dragons. Yeah. Beyond that, yeah. Either of you have anything else much to say, or are we pretty much done with this one?
I think we pretty much just put this one to bed.
Yep. All right. And there's no Shiv this week, and I haven't planned on anything that doesn't involve him, so I think we're gonna basically be calling it here. So,
Right.
yeah. So join us on Sunday for more SRW 30, where it'll probably be our penultimate stream, or no, probably not our penultimate stream, or our pre-penultimate stream.
All we've got left is the final
match,
right?
No, we have another series of 3 side missions, and then we have the final 6. Also, the final 6. So those themselves are probably going to take a couple streams.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. Join us on Monday for the conclusion, I believe, of Digimon Stories Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
Yep. We're at the end in the final dungeon, so...
Yep. And join us back here on Thursday, where we'll be going over Exemplars of Evil and possibly the Dungeon Survival Guide, depending on how much I get done and etc. But till then, I'm Vincent.
I've been the Krampus.
I've been Hunter Green.
And I'm Vincent. And remember, everyone... Oh yeah, those guys have a hindsight of 2020.
No, they've got side sight of 2020. They've got like at best 520 vision back there. They can't turn their heads that much.
But is a natural hindsight of 2020 is the question.
That's true. They have some sort of like weird thing that gives them hindsight.
I'm pretty sure these are not natural creatures.
Still up for debate.
Or fourth face on the butt. That guy pissed off the other liches. He gets to be the butt face, literally.
But yes, till then, everyone, remember, Make your own 12 skull lords who will stop at nothing to resurrect you when you die.